Transformers 8 is one of my most anticipated movies coming out soon, and if you guys watched my last video, I covered the huge news that the one and only legendary Michael Bay might be leading the charge on Transformers 8. And if you watched my last video, welcome back, but that video covered the leaks and the reports and everything that really set the community on fire. But today we are diving deeper. We are going over some new theories that are flying around. And if I'm being real, it feels like the future of this franchise is sitting on the edge of something massive. There is so much speculation, leaks, and rumors regarding what the next chapter of this franchise is going to look like. Everything from plot theories, timelines, when are we going to get the announcement of Transformers 8, and what might be shaping up behind the scenes. Today's video is sponsored by the Pendragon Cycle. If you know me, you know how much I love a good fantasy series, and this new show is no different. Well, they just dropped a brand new trailer for it, so let's take a look. Okay, so apparently this was based on the Stephen R. Lawhead books, which I haven't read yet, but I might actually. And just looking at the overall visuals, like the set quality looks great. Is that King Arthur? I think that might be. Everything looks, you know, high budget. It's just so like expansive. We got some those are literal druids right there. Okay, we got battle scene with some magic. Merlin looks like he is on a warpath. Just looking at, oh, he's raging. He's angry. It's a war cry.
The Merlin died long before you and I.
Oh, buddy, he is not dead. Not at all.
Merlin Emrys has returned to the land of the living.
Oh, Merlin Emrys. Oh, look at the set, like the landscapes.
Rome is gone.
Oh, they're preparing for battle.
It's here.
The acting is good. Oh, dude, this world just seems so lived in.
The island of the mighty.
Oh, it is wartime, baby. Look at this thing.
You stand together.
Oh, there we go. Excalibur. Let's unsheath that. This looks like a great start for what's set to be quite the epic journey. The Pendragon Cycle, Rise of the Merlin, premieres exclusively on Daily Wire Plus, January 22nd, 2026. Click the link in the description to watch the full trailer now. Well, now that the dust has settled from that first wave of news we spoke about, in my last video I mentioned the idea of continuing Unicron as the core focus. And Transformers Rise of the Beast left the door wide open for that. We got a tease that felt like a direct setup for a large universe threat. And honestly, if Michael Bay really is back in the room, then you know how much he loves massive stakes, planet-sized dangers, with a heavy focus on war-driven stories. So Unicron as the driving force really does feel like a strong contender. In my opinion, it is the most logical continuation. It keeps the story going, and it lets the studio, you know, take advantage of the groundwork already laid. And as I mentioned in my last video, if Unicron really is the threat that they're going to use, and Michael Bay is also attached to the project, then it's almost a match made in heaven, because the Transformers The Last Knight also teased Unicron. But I'd like to expand on this overall theory for a minute, because the biggest idea floating around right now is something that's going to shake up the entire franchise. And that is a massive crossover event, a full-scale team-up, something like an Avengers level finale where characters from multiple generations come together. This aspect has been something that people have been begging for years, and with everything that's been going on behind the scenes, in my opinion, the timing might be perfect for this. The theory suggests that Transformers 8 could bring in both the Rise of the Beast cast along with the original cast. Like, just picture this, guys. Imagine a story where Optimus Prime from the Bay timeline and Optimus Primal from the Rise of the Beasts are forced to work side by side together. Imagine Noah Diaz teaming up with Cade Yeager or even Sam Witwicky, with Unicron as the main threat of this movie. Obviously, they would have to make a lot of things make sense in terms of like timelines merging together. They would have to like make it make sense in terms of the canon, because I don't think they're going to do anything like, you know, bringing the multiverses together into like one big thing. Like, I don't think they're going to create Battle World or anything like that. Like, we're not talking about like Doom. We're talking about Unicron, but just think about it. Imagine having all of those OG characters show up in one movie. Like, that would be absolutely mind-blowing. And it would be the first time the franchise has ever tried something that ambitious on screen, but I do think it would be an instant global hit. Marvel is the one who really opened up the door on cross-universe storytelling, and now every studio wants their own version of a big crossover event. Transformers has the lore to support it for the most part. It has the characters, and you know that if Michael Bay is involved, he would likely be all on board with like bringing back legacy characters, blowing the scale out of proportions, and creating a giant spectacle with a bunch of lens flares and all that stuff that he does. Now, another theory is that the story could focus on a massive war arc, something like a full return to Cybertron with a story that goes deeper into the conflict between the Autobots and the Decepticons, but through the lens of a darker and just absolutely wild location. We've never gotten a live action film that delivered on a full-scale war on Cybertron outside of a handful of flashbacks and stuff like that. So a Transformer 8 that starts on Cybertron or flashes between Earth and Cybertron could bring a fresh angle without losing the core identity of the franchise. Now then there's the theory that the next movie could take cues from the animated Transformers 1 film, even though I don't think they should do that, mainly because we're not going to get a sequel to that movie. Now I don't think they're going to do that in terms of tone or the exact story, but in just the overall vibe. The studio wants something that resets the audience and rebuilds the hype, so something that mixes nostalgia with something modern, with a new cast and a new starting point could be really effective for them. So really, whenever you put all of this together, Transformers 8 has 4 big paths that it could go down. Continue Unicron and give us the crossover with G.I. Joes, or merge the universes in a massive crossover event, or just go deeper into Cybertron, or just reset the timeline in a new direction entirely. Which honestly, I think any of these work, but I'm curious to hear what you guys' thoughts are. Where do you want Transformers 8 to go down? Would you want a massive crossover event with Sam Witwicky, Cade, and Noah? Let me know down below. We are currently in one of the quietest stretches in Transformers history. There's been almost no major announcements, no big reveals, and barely any signals from Paramount or Hasbro, which honestly feels really weird. It's almost strange considering how valuable the Transformers brand is. But we also have to remember that Paramount has recently gone through the acquisition process of the, merger between Skydance and Paramount. And usually whenever a major studio gets bought up or merged or just organized, everything really slows down, sometimes to a halt behind the scenes. Which just leads to the big question, why is everything so quiet? Where is the planning? Which let's be real, I think they have been doing a lot of planning. They've been, doing some talks with Michael Bay. And if he really is involved, then that does change everything. So they've probably had to, readjust their expectations, change over the, creative control. But right now there is just talks. I don't believe there has been a deal signed for Michael Bay to return. But it is worth mentioning that Bay is not someone you bring in for a quick production. He is someone you bring in to design the identity of the next era. So his involvement signals that he's probably going to want a bigger team, a bigger budget with a, massive commitment to it, which does take a lot of time. But it's guys, we've gone this far without any news. It's time for them to start talking. Give us something, anything. But they could be doing this for the simple reason that they want to wait for the right moment to make the announcement. But now the question is when will this reveal happen? Well, if history repeats itself, Transformers reveals usually arrive earlier in the year or right before summer. That's usually when the studios try to lock in the hype window, grab attention, and give enough time for marketing to build. And if they're still trying to lock up, Michael Bay and, still doing the early planning, then I think an announcement in the next few months feels really realistic. And I know it seems like it's been so long, but we are probably closer to hearing something official than it seems. Right now, things are really quiet, but when Transformers announcements hit, they usually hit fast. And if Michael Bay is leading it, then you know that he's going to want to make this the biggest deal ever. But on that same topic about timelines, I think it's safe to assume that we all want to know when Transformers 8 could actually hit theaters. And based on everything that we know right now, here is my realistic window. If the announcement is coming soon, that means the movie is likely at the early planning stage or early production phase, with current work being done on script development, concept work. And if Michael Bay is involved, then pre-production will last a lot longer because his movies rely on heavy design work, new vehicles, new robot models, new environments, and new action sequences. They will likely be done practically. So if the announcement lands in early 2026, then the filming would likely begin near the end of the year or early 2027. Transformers films usually need about a year for post-production due to the huge amount of visual effects. So that means the most realistic release window is either sometime in late 2028 or summer 2029. Could it come sooner? I think that that's very possible, but only if they have already started planning behind the scenes without telling anyone. Which studios do that, but with the acquisition and all of the radio silence we've had, I think a 2028 or 2029 window makes the most sense. This would also line up with Paramount wanting a giant film to headline their new era as a studio. Transformers is a global brand. It is their crown jewel. and releasing a major Transformers movie during their new ownership cycle would be a strong way to relaunch the studio's momentum. But that's going to wrap it up with this video, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Do you guys want a continuation of the Transformers series? Would you want a massive crossover event with all of the main cast of all of the series we've had? Or would you want something that's a full reboot? Transformers 8 feels like it's being shaped into something massive, and once we get that announcement, that hype train is about to explode in Michael Bay fashion. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe with the notifications on, and until next time, this has been Wes, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.